The Empire. Is it the Desi version of the Game of Thrones? Is it making Babur seem better than he actually was? Is it worth your watch? If you're here to answer all those questions, you are indeed in the right place. Disney Hotstar's grand mega opus, The Empire. Is it the Desi version of the Game of Thrones? Is it making Babur seem better than he actually was? Is it worth your watch? If you're here to answer all those questions, you are indeed in the right place. This is a So Far So Good review with Jaggu and Tarana. And let us let you know, we have binge watched The Empire, all 8 episodes, and we're ready to tell you what we thought of it. Jaggu, in one word, worth a watch or not worth a watch? Yes or no?
I would watch once.
I would watch once. Okay.
Yes.
Me too. If you start watching the show, the first episode, even the second episode, it's slow going. And that's when the comparisons with like the bigger historical dramas that we've seen on international platforms come to mind. The comparison with Game of Thrones does come to mind, even though there are no dragons or zombies in this particular series. They do come to mind, and it does fail because the CGI seems forced in a lot of places. The sets are grand, but not grand enough. The costumes are lovely. The treatment is very Sanjay Leela Bhansali-like, but sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. The actors also, I think, were getting used to the Urdu delivery, getting into character. So the first couple of episodes were weak, in my opinion, but as you progress in the series, it does start getting you hooked. I'm not too sure whether it's because you're now involved in the story and now you're wanting to know what's next, or that they are improving. What did you think, Jaggu? Did you think they were improving or what?
So, I had a slightly different experience from you. I didn't think any of the episodes moved slowly enough that I got bored. But at the end of 8 episodes, which is 6 hours of viewing, I felt that they should have done more. The story seemed very, very simplified, but I will say that the character build-up for me happened in the first 1 or 2 episodes. Unless a character came in a later episode, I knew what was who and what their mood was: good, bad, evil, gray, shades of gray, etc., etc. Except for the ones that you're not meant to know until the bombshell drops later. So I got a placement of characters rather quickly. You're right about the CGI visual effects. Itna maza nahi aaya. The sets I thought were reasonable. I think comparisons to even before I saw Empire, I thought that comparisons to Game of Thrones was not fair, and it was certainly not what you would call a copy, because Game of Thrones is fiction. This is meant to be historical.
Not really. Not really.
No.
It's historical fiction.
Yes, but it's Babur existed, is what I'm saying. It's historical in that sense. He did come from the north to conquer Hindustan. So in that sense, it's not fiction. It is historical. So you could just as well say that Game of Thrones was inspired by the story of the Mughals and said, "Acha, we'll do something of our own." You could interpret this certainly not a copy. It's not meant to be. If it was meant to be a copy, it fails quite badly because, well, for reasons we'll discuss.
So for me, if you're depicting history, I would want it to be accurate. I don't understand the genre of historical fiction because it's like there were these interesting characters in history, but you know what? I'd like to retell their story in my own imagination, and that's what historical fiction is. So generations grow up believing that everything that they watch in a series or in a movie or in books is the truth. And so you're sort of distorting history. So yes, the makers have categorically said we are not, representing history. We're basically being true to the book. Alex Rutherford is not one person, by the way. It's a husband and wife who write together as Alex Rutherford. The books, apparently, which we've not read, but apparently the books are way better than the series. The simplification that Jaggu was talking about, yes, the story seems very simplified, but in some bits it is really, really good, and in some bits it's not so good. Even with performances, Yeah. So Shabana Azmi as the matriarch, as Babur's Nani ji, who's very ambitious for him. She's outstanding mostly. Some scenes maybe not. Kunal is as Babur is looks the part, but I don't think his voice is, I don't know, emperor
Gravitas.
enough. Yeah, there's no gravitas. That's what it is. Dino Morea surprise package because he's really good as Shaibani Khan. Drashti Dhami as Khanzada, Babur's sister, very impressive in her scenes.
Very.
Imad, who is I love Imad usually on screen. He also seemed unsure in certain scenes. I'm not sure why actors who are good can sometimes not be good in certain scenes. But so essentially, like the Empire overall for me is hits and misses.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So
Good and bad.
let me give you a perspective. So my perspective, Shabana Azmi, a brilliant actor, so you expect a certain level of performance. She did not outshine. She gave what was, I felt, bear with me,
Expected.
Gave what was basically expected. It wasn't outstanding as far as her performances go. Dino Morea 100% the surprise package.
Yeah, because it was unexpected to expect him to perform, and he did.
Yeah. Drashti Dhami is a very pleasant surprise for me, only because I haven't seen her acting before in the serials and all that she's come in. So for me, I was like, wow. Kunal Kapoor, yes, I thought little bit edge was missing, considering he's the title character, but passable.
Yeah. And there are many other characters that stand out. So Etibar, who's the eunuch, he the actor who plays him a good job. We also eventually, like, the sons also come in. So like the first season of the Empire, which is the 8 episodes that are out now, are based on the very first book of Alex Rutherford, which is the Empire of the Mughals, and then there's a second book, and that's when the two brothers Humayun versus Kamran Mirza are probably going to be at war, and so on and so forth. So would we, in a nutshell, would we recommend that you watch it? Well, if you're going there expecting Sanjay Leela Bhansali type grandiose, yeah. If you like period dramas, yeah. If you're expecting a pacey, perfect series, no. If you run out of patience soon, then no, because it takes a few episodes for you to really start liking the show. But for me, Jaggu, on a scale of 1 to 5, 3.
Okay, I want to give it a 2.5, but I also want to make a special mention of Rahul Dev,
yes,
who I thought as Wazir Khan was exceptional. I thought he did a good job. The series itself, I have to say, is a little oversimplified, maybe even a little whitewashed. For a 6-hour total watch, I would have wanted more content, more information, more action.
Yes. So there you have it. These are our 2 views. Let us know what your opinion is. Have you seen The Empire already? Did you binge watch? Are you still on episode 1? Are you planning not to watch it ahead? Let us know in the comments. Remember to like this video. Please subscribe, turn that bell icon on. Don't miss a single episode of So Far So Good. And forever stay in touch with us, because we'll see you.